Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Sunday, November 12th, 2023, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Now Mind You podcast. This is episode 91, Combat. We are your hosts. I'm TJ.
I'm Matt.
And Bryce is not with us because he's out of town. He
Yep.
will be back next week, and I'm sure he'll regale us with some of his out-of-town adventures, at least what we could air on the show. Uh, um, with that being said, we have a very short podcast. I don't know if you guys watched the main card from yesterday's UFC 295 event, Prochazka versus Pereira, but spoiler alert, you could have called this event the I'm gonna need you to log off of it. If you were an American fighter on this main card, you automatically took an L. It was 5 out of 5 stoppages, but I'm not even gonna waste any time. Let's just kick it off. I'm gonna kick it off with Diego Lopez versus Pat Sabatini. Listen, I've kind of been a fan of Diego Lopez's in the UFC since he did that last minute replacement bout against Mosvar Evloev, right? Evloev was having difficulty getting people trying to fight him because, he's got a name that ends with a consonant.
Hmm.
Specifically a V, right? So with that being said, like strong grappler, decent striker, he was having trouble getting fighters to, want to fight him. And then Diego Lopez was like, yeah, no, whatever, man, I'll jump in. Let me handle this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before I even go even further than, I'm already going pretty further back in time, but he had a brilliant performance against Mosvar Evloev, and I feel like if they gave grappling a little bit more weight, he kind of won that fight. Diego Lopez did. I mean, he lost the decision, but his stock went sky high. And it's funny because there's this like joke in the group about shitty tattoos equating to a good fighter. And
Well, they're dangerous.
I was thinking about this the other day. I was trying to remember like who brought that up first. And I think it was at Friendsgiving, and your friend Angus, I guess he's kind of
Yep.
my friend too. He was like something about shitty tattoos equating to like vicious knockout power. Let me tell you something. Ever since, that has proven to be more and more true. Like he brought up the correlation. I was like, man, Angus was like high key right, dude. Because
Trying to tell you.
here's the thing. Diego Lopez is a fighter coming out of Los Lobos. So that's correct me if I'm wrong, Francisco Grasso is the name
Yeah.
of Alexa's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Francisco Grasso runs that gym, and you can pretty much pinpoint any fighter that trains at Los Lobos because all their hands have that distinct, very clean, geometrically, aesthetically pleasing style. I don't know, it's aesthetically pleasing to
It's
me.
very clean. Elbows are in, strikes are
Yeah,
there's no extra
there's no
movement.
fluff, there's no
Nope.
inefficiency. But they have that, and then Diego Lopez is the grappling coach. That's the reason why Alexa had some strong ass grappling against Valentina Shevchenko, right? But we knew he had some hands because I think when he fought Gavin Tucker, right? And even when he fought Mosvar Evloev, we saw that he had some hands on him. I mean, he ended up submitting Gavin Tucker, but I did not have it on my bingo card that he was going to knock out Pat Sabatini.
Nope.
Sabatini is not a slouch. He's a well-rounded individual and has a strong grappling background himself. He's also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. But bro, like what was it was the Spink and the Spoiler. I think he caught him with the right hand.
The spink and the spoint.
He got him with the right hand, like dropped Sabatini and then went to work. And then it was messed up. Matt and I were talking about this in the chat yesterday too. It's like Sabatini fell in such a way because I thought that Lopez had wrapped his arm around, but the way Lopez positioned himself kind of blocked off the top arm, and he fell on his bottom arm. So all he could do was eat these shots and not answer them. So of course, what's the ref going to do? He's not going to be like, "Hey, keep going. I want to see a body tonight." No, what kind of ref would that be, right? Like the ref obviously stepped in.
I want to see a body tonight. Huh?
Sorry, I was out of pocket. This is what happens when I'm just going stream of consciousness. But
I want to see a body tonight. That's crazy.
Clearly, the ref stepped in and stopped the fight. But yeah, every time we see Lopez, he shows us somewhat of an evolution, and he gave props to his coach. He's like, "Hey, he turned a grappler into a striker, y'all." Crazy. Did not go past the first round, of course. Again, I felt he was going to win. I just thought it was going to be a submission. I didn't have that on my bingo card. I'm going to pass it over to you, Matt.
Hey, look. He came out there with that fresh mullet.
Sorry.
Came out there with that fresh mullet.
All
he
business.
was ready to go. All business. Like, he hurt him and he hurt him back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what that's a theme we're gonna see happen again on this card. One person's gonna get hurt, and that they're gonna then decide they're gonna hurt them worse. That's literally what happened. It was like, he called Diego. Oh, Diego called him. And you know what I'm saying? That's a minute and a half into the first round.
Yeah. I'm sorry about my voice cracking for y'all.
Oh, that's fine.
It's just insane. Like,
speaking of a minute and a half in the first round, do you want to go to the next one?
Oh man, let's talk about Benoit Saint-Denis versus Matt Frevola. Listen, I was kind of joking in the group chat, but not really, because like there's something historical about these two dudes.
Historical.
I like Benoit Saint-Denis has that vibe, like he may have fought in the French Revolution. Look, hey, like I'm gonna just keep 100. He just looks like he's beyond his time. And Matt Frevola looks like, no, I don't mean like he looks old. I'm just saying like some like French Revolution is like kind of running through those veins, bro. And then Matt Frevola, he looks like he's got like a little bit of caveman in him or something, bro. Because like I don't know, but the ancients speak through them. But that being said, okay, if you looked at this fight on paper, just on paper, you know, knowing the bare minimum fighter data for both of these dudes, you would have said this was Frevola's for the taking. Remember, Frevola's got a finish on Drew Dober. That's saying something, right? At lightweight, Drew Dober, he's that dude, right? Like Drew Dober has a win over Bobby Green. Drew Dober has a win over, I'm trying to think, who was the last dude he fought and like just eviscerated? The dude who was grabbing his gloves. And even with the glove grab, Drew Dober's like strength. But I'm forgetting right now. It's like one of the
violence time.
Yeah, he's like, hey ref, he's cheating, but ref, also I can handle the punishment. Yeah, yes. But like Drew Dober is kind of that dude, and like to think that Matt Frevola's has a finish over him is kind of insane. Now, Benoit Saint-Denis, however, he's been kind of showing out on a lot of these UFC French cards, and look, the wildest thing about him, and Matt and I were talking about this in the chat, he's only got 6 years of training in MMA. But you also have to add additional context. He was former special forces in France, y'all. Mm-hmm. Like, I was joking with Matt. It's more for him. It's more like it took 6 years to teach him how to not beat someone past the point of death. Right? Like they had to teach him. It's like, no, bro. When they tap, you let go. No, when your skull is cracked, you stop hitting. Actually, we want you to stop hitting before you crack their skull. He's like, oh, that is crazy. I did not know. You see in the special forces. Anyway, I don't need to make this scene dark. But yeah, man. Benoit said, listen, actually getting to the fight, it was crazy competitive. It was crazy back and forth. A lot of feelers, but you'll notice in the opening few seconds, what do you see Benoit Saint-Denis do? Immediately catch Frevola with a high kick. It didn't hit hard. It didn't like put Frevola away, but you know he was hunting for that from jump. Now, we had quite a few grappling exchanges. Frevola especially was initiating a lot of the takedowns, but to Saint-Denis' credit, his takedown defense is actually really high level. I didn't see him. I didn't know he had that sweep in him that he caught Frevola with. Like, you know, when Frevola was like, I'm not putting my shoulders on the mat. Like, I'm gonna just let my spine twist out. But like Benoit Saint-Denis still got it. There were a couple of like fence wrestling exchanges where, you know, it looked like Saint-Denis was kind of losing it. He got a little too greedy at first when he thought he had that guillotine, and then Frivola's head popped out. I thought, all right, well, this is about to be for the Frivola show. But again, his Saint-Denis grappling is pretty sound. There was even a moment where he like kind of got back up to his feet. Then they had that one wrestling or fence wrestle exchange where they broke out of it. Frivola was walking backwards and Saint-Denis hit him with the truth, justice, and the baguette. Bow!
Damn.
Headshot. Frivola was gone, bro. Gone. He said, as this is for D-Day. I don't know, bro. But anyway, I'm gonna pass the mic over to Matt, who's probably speechless right now because I might be wilding a little bit. Go on.
I'm just gonna say I was really impressed by Benoit DeSantis.
Damn,
Saint-Denis.
nigga, what? Benoit who, bro?
Saint-Denis. Hey, look, I got it. He put Matt Frivola on a t-shirt, man.
Damn.
He's not the only person that did that tonight, but he was the first one that did it. That's really all I got. He put him on a t-shirt.
That's crazy. Well, shit. This might be the perfect segue. Take us into Dern versus Andrade. Speaking of putting people on shirts,
we get into the longest knockout drag out brawl on the card, aka really just the longest fight on the card.
That's crazy because it's true.
Or the second longest, I'm sorry. Second longest fight on the card, which is Jessica Andrade versus Mackenzie Dern. Now, a little background on this. Both women are currently going through very, very nasty divorces. Mackenzie Dern being in a situation where she's now paying alimony to her ex.
Oh, man.
And Jessica Andrade is trying to finalize her divorce with her ex who was fucking up her money. I fuck my money up. And so, sorry. At any rate, the last time we saw Mackenzie Dern, she fought like a woman possessed, and she was possessed by the hatred in her blood of having to pay that alimony.
Oh, man.
And she took that out on Angela Hill. Now, we were speculating and joking in our group chat ahead of this, like, like who's gonna come out stronger and shit, right?
What'd you call it? The Roundtree Rage?
Who would be able to tap into the Roundtree Rage?
Which I still think is crazy to say.
Khalil Force, the Roundtree Rage. Those are two different things, but they come from the same space. And I knew immediately who had it once we saw the walkouts, because Mackenzie Dern came out and she was back to looking like normal Mackenzie Dern, you know, was smiling, you know, was ready to come out and fight, you know, was being positive. And Jessica Andrade was walking like she just stepped on the Lego, and she'd been telling the kids for the last 2 weeks to put these toys up. Like she came out to
breakout music, bro.
She came out music to some slow, sad shit. When the scowl on her face, like she stepped on a Lego, and in the stumble of stepping on the Lego, stubbed her baby toe on the other foot. And then they was like, Jessica, it's time to go fight. Pissed. And no shoes, by the way. Go ahead, walk on that cold ass concrete. Nah, man.
That is an image you have just painted, sir.
Jessica Andrade
stepped on the Lego and stubbed her toe right before the fight.
She comes forward like she always does in the first round, moving her head, weaving. Mackenzie Dern, you know, tries to is trying to get some strikes off. And truth be told, she is, you know, she does have a reach advantage over her. Virtually everybody that fights Jessica Andrade does. But respectfully, Mackenzie Dern is, she has a pretty decent amount of size on Jessica Andrade. But as most fans know, and anybody who knows about Jessica Andrade knows, what she makes up for and where she makes up for her size is in power. So she's weaving, and Jessica is known to throw kind of some wild kind of hooks, but she seems to be trying to clean it up a little bit. God forbid she ever goes to Los Lobos, but that's only a dream. At any rate, Jessica Andrade is what I've noticed, and I was telling TJ this, is she's starting to add some things to her striking arsenal. She kept trying to go for this counter uppercut, which she did eventually land, but she was showing it pretty early whenever Mackenzie Dern would fall short. The only problem with that is Mackenzie Dern falling short with such a reach advantage doesn't leave her close enough,
right,
for Jessica Andrade necessarily to land that uppercut.
Yeah.
At any rate, we start seeing as the round is going on that Jessica Andrade, her pace is not slowing down, and Mackenzie Dern is starting to slow down a little bit because she can't get Jessica on her back foot. She cannot produce anything that is getting Jessica Andrade to back up. And once Jessica realizes that she has tasted the best of Mackenzie Dern's arsenal, she starts pressing forward pretty recklessly. And that ultimately leads to a knockdown at the very end of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a bad one. And I definitely did not see Mackenzie Dern making it long after that. And newsflash, she did not. Second round, Jessica Andrade shot out of a fucking cannon after this woman. And Jess was applying nothing but pressure to her until she was able to get her up on the fence. Dropped her. She dropped her what, like 3 times?
3 times before the ref was like, "I've seen enough."
Yeah, caught her while she was in the center of the cage. She gets up, rolls, whatever. They kind of get tangled up. She tries to take Jessica down. Jessica shoves her off, and obviously Mackenzie Dern stays down on the ground, like, "Hey, come down here." Nope. Jessica Andrade steps off. Waves her back up. Nope, get on up and fight me. And you kind of rinse and repeat that until we get to the third knockdown when, like, even when she goes down, just kind of out of how discombobulated Mackenzie Dern was, when she even goes to pull guard, she turns upside down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't even really necessarily put herself in a good spot. That was pretty much how the fight ended. Jessica Andrade wins via TKO in the second round. I'm going to pass it to TJ.
Look, the only thing I have to add, because Matt covered it beautifully, is that Joe Rogan was out of pocket as hell, bro. Like, I texted Matt immediately. I called Matt immediately after I heard it because I couldn't believe he said that. Because Jessica Andrade was basically pouring her heart out on the mic, like, "Hey, after the year I fucking just had, I needed this win with the divorce, this, that, and the third." And Joe Rogan was like, "Well, I hope you get a bonus so you can pay off some of those divorce bills." I was like, "Nigga, read the room. Like, what the? Why would you say that?"
She gut check him and shit.
I hope she's gonna catch him again. Cause like, why would he say that, bro? Anyway, I think the commentary team, I believe it was Anik, DC, and Joe with Dean Thomas in the cut. I think they were ripping Mackenzie's hands up a little too harshly because her hands weren't bad. It's just that she was dealing with Jessica Andrade. Like, the power differential was crazy. Because to touch on something Matt alluded to, actually, no, he didn't allude to it. I feel like you said it explicitly. It's the power difference, right? The power differential is crazy because Mackenzie had some good flurries and good comps in there. Like, I think if we said that she didn't hurt Jessica Andrade, we'd be disingenuous because I feel like she did rock Jessica Andrade a few times. However, it's Jessica Andrade. And if you are doubting what we mean by power differential, rewatch the fight. Look at what Mackenzie had to do to just even wobble Jessica, and look at how little Jessica had to do to put Mackenzie on her butt on the canvas. It felt like Mackenzie would be mid-flurry, and then that hook from Jessica would just come, boop, and then she's like gone, legs spaghetti, right? Like, Jessica is just, and then I was texting Matt too. It's like she was just taking those hits sometimes to the face and not even reacting. I was like, huh?
You're just tanking them.
Huh? Yeah, tanking him is crazy. Huh? She's just walking forward like, yeah, I know what real pain is. Anyway, no, I just thought the fight was crazy. I thought Dern's hands were decent. I just wish she would learn to bring her chin down, especially in that scenario. I mean, I guess you can make the argument. It's like, no, she's got a height advantage, but I'm like, doesn't mean shit if your chin is fucking exposed. Someone can touch it, especially if that someone is Jessica Andrade. But I digress. Crazy fight. Crazy fight. Speaking of crazy, hey, Matt, this is your boy. Take us into that co-main. We'll do main event together.
Listen.
Take us into that co-main. This is your boy right here.
Tom Aspinall versus Sergey Pavlovich, a.k.a. Francis Ngannou.
Also coined by Matt.
And we got Sergey Pavlovich, known for that one-shot power. We got Tom Aspinall, pretty much known as like an heir apparent, at least by me, in the heavyweight division. Known for his hand speed movement, similar to a Surreal Gone. Excuse me. Known for his hand speed and his movement, similar to a Surreal Gone. This kid is big. Came in 262. He's 6'5". Has a 78-inch reach.
2 weeks notice, y'all.
2 weeks notice. Yeah, he and Sergey Pavlovich both took this fight 2 weeks notice. And this fight was for the interim heavyweight championship. Sergey Pavlovich, also no slouch on the other side, 260, 6'3", and has an 84-inch reach. So he had the reach advantage. There's another guy at heavyweight with an 84-inch reach, but we'll get into that later. Man, like Tom Aspinall went out there and, like I said earlier, a few fights ago, somebody stung and stung back. He was trying to use the movement, trying to find his way in, because Sergey Pavlovich obviously is very strong, but he also has a reach advantage. And in him being both strong and having said reach advantage, he was giving him a hard time. So he was trying to angle his way in, and he gets caught with a hard right hand, kind of wobbles him a little bit. Pavlovich goes after him. He moves his head, moves around a little bit. And after he's able to get him to fall back for a second, moves around. Soon as Sergey steps in, drops that 1-2 on him, wobbles him, puts him on Dream Street. He gets Sergey to swing a hook, weaves it, another 1-2, goes down on top of him. After he goes down, hammer fist. And just like that, at a minute, no, not a minute.
No, you're right. It was like a minute.
At a minute and 9 seconds.
Yeah.
Tom Aspinall, 1 minute and 9 seconds into this fight, has become the interim heavyweight champion by TKO, by stopping Sergey Pavlovich. So what's supposed to be next for him is a title fight, obviously now with John Jones. I could see a world where he would, quote unquote, defend the interim title against like a Stipe or something like that. But Stipe was there. He was in the crowd. He was there to watch that fight. But John Jones is out with his shoulder injury. So I don't know. It's a very interesting roll of the dice of things now in the heavyweight division. But I will be the one to say, I told you so. I saw something I liked in this kid immediately. And he just has that, to me, he has that it factor. He has the thing. He has that intangible. And I really think, this kid was like basically born and raised in this sport virtually. I really, really think he's the heir apparent of this division. I think he's the guy. But TJ, I'm gonna pass it to you.
Bro, I don't really have much to add. I'll just say I feel like there was such a tremendous show of respect. Aspinall and Pavlovich hugging at the beginning of the fight. because they knew one of them wasn't gonna make it.
Yep,
Like it was
like you
it was
said,
like
that was funny as hell.
it was funny, but it was also like kind of serious, bro. Because the way they were looking at each other, it's like, hey, warrior to warrior. You know what I mean? Like the only other fight that matched that intensity is the main event, but we'll get to that when we get to that, right? But I'm just saying, like, there
This
was
wasn't the main event.
bro, so that was my next point. I was actually more hyped for this than the main event because there, I mean, Matt's been evangelizing everybody about the word of Aspinall for a minute now, but I'm believing it, and I've been believing it because I'm like, he can do everything. He's a heavyweight who moves like a welterweight, who moves like a middleweight. It's like that, and for as big as he is, it's not like he's on the lighter end of the heavyweight spectrum either. Like, he's a big dude. He made Sergey Pavlovich, who usually towers over his opponents, look pretty average in height. He even made was it Alexander Volkov, Drago, look pretty average in height too. And Drago's gigantic, but he made Drago look regular, bro. Not that he was bigger than Drago. I'm just saying, like, that's a big boy right there, for the way he moves. And look, he took the boogeyman out of this division. Like, he took the boogeyman. Not only did he win, but he won decisively. He knocked the boogeyman out. You guys have to understand. We saw this dude bounce Curtis Blades' head off the canvas. We saw this dude take out Tai Tuivasa. We saw this dude take out Derek Lewis. Like, he was just, and I'm making it seem like I have hated Pavlovich, but like, Pavlovich made me nervous, bro, because I'm like, like what's going on? But I would be lying if I didn't say I wouldn't also mind seeing a Pavlovich versus Jones situation, or a Pavlovich versus Gane, right? But I digress once again. But look, the left hook and the right hand wobbled him. Then he hit him with another Spink and Spoinkle, followed by those hammer fists, bro. I was talking to Matt and a few other friends, but basically I was saying this. I thought round one, it can go either way because they both have the capabilities of putting the other out. I feel like if it went beyond a round one, it would have for sure been Aspinall's, but this was like the best of both worlds. Aspinall took it in decisive fashion. Now look at this man. 30 years old, heavyweight interim champ. He's got it all lined up for him now. A Gane versus Aspinall makes sense. I don't want to see Stipe fight anymore. It's nothing. I think Stipe is awesome. I just think, bro, it's been time to hang it up. Like, you're doing too much, and I don't mean that like figuratively. I mean, like, he's also an active firefighter. He's got some wear and tear on his body now. He's taken he's been knocked out a few times. Like, this is heavyweight. He's got a kid. He's a father. Like, we can't. This is cool. I think Stipe just ride off into the sunset, dog. It's the new generation's time now. That's where I'm at with that. I'll pass it back over to you, Matt.
Well, we only got one fight left, and that is our main event, which was Yuri Prochazka versus Alexander Pereira. This was for the 205-pound light heavyweight title, not the interim, but the real light heavyweight championship. Wow. You know what? I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna pass it to you, TJ. I'm gonna do it on. I'm gonna give it to you. TJ, you break the fight down.
All right, I got a couple notes off the top. Yuri has a 3-dimensional beard. I know his barber does math on a napkin before shaping Yuri's beard. I know that he had to use a level. I know that they probably have a 3D sculpture of Yuri's face. The beard was crazy. Like, on every angle you look at Yuri, that shit stays anyway. Listen, this was intense. How would I describe the level of intensity? It wasn't an intensity like, oh shit, security's got to be called. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like a McGregor Khabib. It wasn't like that, because there was a lot of mutual respect. It was like, imagine Pereira has the Nine Tails or like a Gamakichi behind him, and Yuri has like a giant Susano behind him. Like, just presence, bro. Like Mark Goddard was kind of clinging to the fence, like not out of fear, but Matt was saying that he was getting pushed back, and I agree with that statement wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
There was just mad intensity. Like this was the second time we saw people not acknowledge Ruth Buffer's intros. The first time actually was when Jessica Andrade was getting introduced. She was like, "I don't need all that." Like she was like, "I don't need all that. I know what I have to do." But yeah, no, going back to this, it was crazy. Like just insane. I'm gonna talk about this as a tale of two rounds. Round one, personally, I said 10-9 Prochazka because of the takedown and the grappling control time. But here's the thing, though. Prochazka was trying to beat Alex at his own game. He got a taste of that Brazilian adamantium, whatever the fuck Pereira's got in his shins, and he was like, you know what? We need to switch this up to grappling, because if you look, and I'm sorry that I'm like, my mind is going all over the place, so my mouth can't keep up, but it's just that the way Pereira throws leg kicks, they're super painful, and he doesn't telegraph them. He, within the first 30 seconds of the fight, like Yuri's leg was fucking bruised up. You could even see him kind of having trouble switching stances. Like every time he was pushing out that left leg, it was getting increasingly difficult. Yuri's first takedown attempt, that's when he had to switch up the strategy, when he realized like what type of power Pereira was working with. I thought Pereira wasn't that far away from finishing that guillotine, because it was like some John Jones, like, you know what? If you want to die, you can die. Like that Buddha fist guillotine. I thought the reason why Pereira kind of lost is because he was probably trying to readjust and get a tighter grip. But oftentimes, if the readjustment isn't done properly, that's when people are free. Because I could be tripping, but for a second, I thought I saw Yidi's body kind of go a little soft, like at some point during that guillotine, but apparently he was good. Anyway, that was, yeah. So while he tried to readjust and Yidi was able to get free, Yidi also picked him up and got that mat return double leg, and that's what kind of switched the round in Yidi's favor, because, you know, that was just a matter of control time. But for what it's worth, Poatan's grappling defense, it's gotten much better, because Yidi was not able to do much, and Pereira got back up at the end of the round. Like there might have been 5 to 10 seconds to spare before the buzzer, went off, but he got back up to his feet, and that's a really big thing for Pereira, and it kind of demoralizing for Yidi if he's like, wait, I can't even keep him down, because the mental game is also important in this game of chess. Now, round two. I don't need, look. I thought it was gonna be another similar round to round one, because Yidi was like, all right, let me hit him with the unorthodox style, let me hit him with my footwork, let me hit him with the stance switches. But again, Pereira's leg kicks without the telegraph, insane. His punches, insane. The man just has so much power. He's been meant to be in 205, because it doesn't make sense why he was even in any other weight class, because he made Yuri look small.
He looked like he should have been a 205er. It's like, wait, what other weight class did you ever fight at?
Yeah, like he's like, it's hard to make 185. I see that. Like, I'm just like, I don't, why was this man ever fucking around in middleweight? Anyway, so round two, same kind of deal. I thought Yidi was really having some success with his like lead uppercuts and some of his hand movement, because he was, you know, throwing them bows, throwing them hands every now and then too. Then he tries to get a double leg / fence press going, and unfortunately, this second time, Pereira had something for him. Alex hit him with these elbows. Now, I thought those elbows were maybe a little illegal, because I don't think some of those were going to the side of the head. It's neither here nor there, but he hits him with a series of elbows. Think someone just spamming the elbow button, and we just see Yidi collapse, which is also kind of insane. You don't usually see the person pressing the takedown collapse like that, bro. Like the only other, not typically, right? Like he collapses one time, regains his consciousness, continues the fence press, Then Pereira elbows him again. He collapses and he kind of shoves him onto his back. And the ref was like, you know what, y'all? Nah, I don't want to see a dead body today. All right, that's enough. That's enough. I'm gonna pass it over to Matt. That was insane.
Bro, this all I'm gonna say. Pretty much the stats that they were given on Alex Pereira, which is insane. He his in 11 fights, in 11 MMA fights, he is a 2-division world champion.
Crazy, dude.
In 11 MMA fights, he has both won the middleweight championship and the light heavyweight championship. He won the light heavyweight championship 2 fights into his light heavyweight debut. This was his second fight at light heavyweight. And he fought for the middleweight title, his 4th fight into the UFC. So
that's insane.
Like,
shortest pathways. And it's not, and he's not dealing with slouches either. There weren't tomato cans placed in front of him.
No. I mean, dude, he's in the Glory Kickboxing Hall of Fame. He was their light heavyweight and their middleweight champion. Like, he was the middleweight champion in WGP. You know, this is pretty much what this guy does, but just to do what he's done in the UFC and the speed that he's done it in and with the quality of opposition that he's defeated.
History books, easy.
Sean Strickland, who is the current middleweight champion, and then Israel Adesanya, Jan Blachowicz, who was the champion at 205, and now Yuri Prochazka.
It's like, damn.
Yeah, so like, at this point, it's just, what does he do now?
Right.
What's next?
Goes up. Well, apparently he called Adesanya over to the light heavyweight side. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see. But ultimately, man, I don't have anything to add to it. It's just, he put him on a t-shirt. Yuri Prochazka even admitted, like, he's like, I was unconscious.
Yeah.
He's like, so, it wasn't a bad call. And which I thought that was cool of him to do. Because people as fans and things like that, people have a tendency to want to favor their person.
I mean, which is, you're a fan. That's what you do. Yeah.
But just so there's no, you know what I'm saying? There was no foolishness.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, the 205 division is crazy now too. It's just, there's just been a lot of big shakeups in all the divisions, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing what else is going to transpire and what else is going to happen going forward, with all the divisions. But yeah, man, that's pretty much that. You got any final thoughts on the card? What was your favorite fight?
Oh, damn.
What was your favorite highlight of the night?
You know what? Oh,
everybody highlight.
That's hard. That's actually really hard. The Saint Denis head kick was insane.
Yeah.
But Aspinall took out the boogeyman, bro. I don't think it gets any peak than that.
Yeah, I'm going with the same one. I'm sure you didn't even have to question that.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's like, who's Matt gonna go for? I bet it's Aspinall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, with that, that's going to conclude another episode of the Now Mind You podcast. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. Next week, what you can expect, we will be covering UFC Fight Night, Allen versus Craig. That's Brendan Allen is fighting Paul Craig. We got Jake Matthews on this card. We also got Chase Hooper fighting Monkey King Jordan Levitt. That's going to be pretty interesting. And we also got Amanda Ribas opening the card as well. So looks like that'll be a pretty interesting card overall. We'll be covering that. Nothing really of note on the boxing side that I'll be covering that week. So that's all we will have for you as far as that is concerned. With that said, Thank you guys for checking us out. You can follow us all on social media. You can follow me at Matt Hambrick. That's MattHambrick, TJ.
Well, you can find me on the, comment ça se dit, Instagram. My handle is just for skate, like the skateboard. I believe you spell that TUSS number 4, followed by the how do you call the big line that is in between the letters? It is not it's like the negative symbol, but like not mathematics.
Underscore.
Yes, thank you. Merci beaucoup, Matt. Underscore SKATE, and you can find our fellow countryman Bryce on the Instagram as well. I believe it is Ashe. On says that is AXE. You said it was the underscore, Matt? Yes, underscore ENCA. Comment ça se dit, bébé?
Okay. Yep. Yep. And you can follow us at Now Mind You Podcast, wherever you like to get your social media and wherever you like to get your podcast, because we are in all of those places. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Peace.